So these two terms are very important according to the material science. Okay. So the processing and performance. So in addition to the structure and properties, two other important no, no, okay. So these two terms are like engineering. Uh, yeah, okay. In addition to the structures and properties, two other important components are involved in the engineering and in the science or and engineering of material, namely is processing and performance. Okay, so what is the relationship these components? With the regard to the relationship of these four components, the structure of material depends on how it is processed. Okay, so structure how they are processed. Material performance is a function of its properties. Got it? The relationship of these four components. Okay, structure of material depends on how it is processed. So how they are processed. Process means how they have been performed, how they have been made. Okay. So this is known as a processed. Okay. And performance will depend on how they have performance. They have processed. Process means किसी चीज को बनाना आप जो बना रहे हो या फिर जिससे वो बना है बाय से back. Sometimes you are making the things and sometimes they have already appeared in nature. Okay. So if they have appeared in nature, they I mean it doesn't mean कि वो बना नहीं है वो भी उसको भी किसी ने किसी बनाया है but we the human being have not involved in that particular work but there is some kind of the force okay which have made that particular things. So if nature has made something there is a mechanism behind that they are behind that existence. Okay, so that making and that existence that basically the process how they have formed how they have made is known as a processing. Okay, and now we come to the performance. The performance is how they are behaving when we you know take them as in use. Okay, while you are using that particular material how they are behaving. Okay, how they respond. Okay, how they are good how they bad, that known as a performance. Okay, so basically as you can see the process is the very first part where you basically come to know that how they are coming into the existence and sometimes how we made them. Okay, like as the composite materials, most of the composite materials are you know made by human beings. Okay, so they i mean they mostly depend on the processing. Okay, right. And whatever things is present in nature that we are not concerned about much more about their processing because they have already made by the nature. We can do some changes according to ourselves but we cannot changes into processing part. The mechanism of the processing a mechanism through which they have processed we cannot change, right? Because it's by nature. But most of the engineering materials and we in our modern age we come to the composite materials. We have now we are entered into nanomaterials, right? So they all are the parts where human beings are involved. Okay, they are processing, they are making them. Okay, and according to that, we are able to achieve the properties and the requirement about our, requirement according to our comfort zone. Okay, right. So this is, so that is known as the processing and the performance. Sometimes, the material which is present in the nature. Okay, we can do the performance of that as well. Okay, and we try to find out how they perform, how they behave. That is known as performance. Okay. So yeah, this is the basic things. Four terms are frequently used in material science. Okay, and which you must know how they are related to each other. So processing depends how their structure will be, right? If processing has the different mechanism, the structure will have different. Okay, and structure will define how what would be the properties of that particular material. Okay, and according to the properties, you would get the performance. Got it? So processing is the first part where the mechanism of coming into existence involves then structure. Okay, so structure depends on how they have made, how they have been made. Okay, either man-made, either by the man-made or by nature. It doesn't matter. But the mechanism involved in the processing is known as is the processing is basically uh, sorry what I was checking. So processing will basically structure will dependent on processing. So we can go by this like this. So it will depend. Performance will depend on its properties, and performance and properties will depend on structure, and the structure will depend on how they have been processed. Okay. So if you are concerned about basically we are the human being. Okay. So we use material as a performance. I mean, at the final edge, final end product, we are concerned about performance, right? If because performance is not good, then we have why we will use that product. Okay, so product will depend on their performance, and performance will depend on properties. I mean, what the properties are present in that particular material, right? The material that have been used for that component, right? Which we are concerned about the performance. So it depends on the properties, and property will depend on structure, and structure will depend on processing. I mean, how they have made. Got it?